I don't know. This one? Or this one? How can we decide faster and think sharper? In this video, we'll find out. And why am I even thinking about this? This is the best cap. Peaky Blinders. Hi, I'm Tommy Dark each week, bringing to you actionable lessons to apply in your music career today, inspired by popular books. Today, we'll examine Super Thinking by Gabriel Weinberg. Yeah, that author we discussed again a few episodes ago. I'm a simple man. I go with what I know. This video is ideal for every musician who wants to supercharge their mindset, think high level, and avoid biases in their career and daily life. In short, the book Super Thinking helps us understand 300 mental models that can improve our lives. Now we'll skip the 354 pages of the book, which I've read, and we'll explore 9 mental models you can use in your music career and life today, inspired by Super Thinking. More links and resources at the end of the video. Mental models are recurring concepts that you can use to quickly create a mental picture of a situation. In short, mental models are shortcuts to higher level thinking. Of course, you can also apply them in similar situations in the future. And with that said, let's explore 9 of them. Mental models 1 and 2. How to be wrong less. The first mental model is arguing from first principles. First principles is a group of self-evident assumptions that make up the foundation on which you build your conclusions. When arguing from first principles, you are deliberately starting from the basics. For example, when somebody tries to bargain your payment or even get you to play for free at a gig saying, "You are an artist, you shouldn't do it for the money," you could argue from first principles, responding, "My music brings value to your audience in the form of entertainment, and every service or product that brings value can be exchanged for money. Here's the price for a service." In other words, the first principle here is that everything of value for an audience can be exchanged for a universal equivalent, money. If you can argue from first principles, you can easily approach unfamiliar situations, approach familiar situations in innovative ways, or be wrong less. The next mental model is called de-risking. Essentially, to be wrong less, you need to be testing your assumptions in the real world quickly and early. Avoid tweaking something too much or perfecting something too early. Take planning a tour. To de-risk, break it down into its essential pillars and form assumptions to test. Assumptions could be around cost. I can afford the cost of this tour. Geographical locations, we will play in X, Y, Z countries. Coordination, my team can pull this through seamlessly, etc. All of these assumptions need to be tested, whether through online research, asking previously touring musicians, breaking down the daily procedures to assign roles, checking out statistics of where your fans live, and so on. The point is, before you jump into this new ambitious project, spend some time to de-risk as much as you can. Mental models 3 and 4. How to use information. The third mental model is called asymmetric information. This happens when one side of a transaction has different information than the other side. For instance, when you negotiate with a label and they've drafted their contracts with a really good lawyer and you've just read them all by yourself without consulting one. In this case, they know much more than you do on the subject matter, the contracts, and I'm pretty sure they've included terms that you won't quite agree with. Always use a good lawyer to close that asymmetric information gap and negotiate better. The fourth mental model is called analysis paralysis. It's simply poor decision making for overanalyzing the large amount of information available. For example, when you decide to go out for dinner, do you go through the whole list of restaurants in the city and then decide? No, you limit your choices by asking a friend, checking online reviews, or visiting the places you already know and like. Similarly, say you're preparing for a new album. You are a singer-songwriter and you want to spice things up a bit by adding something new to your sound. Do you list every possible thing that could make your music sound fresher? Use electronics, rap, use the banjo, collaborate with Kanye West, play every instrument by myself, use my dog as a vocalist. That's analysis paralysis. Instead, limit your choice and stick with 1 to 3 things for the entire album. After all, restrictions fuel creativity. Mental model 5. How to spend your time wisely. Let's move now to the 5th mental model, opportunity cost. Every choice has a hidden cost. The value of the best alternative opportunity you didn't choose. To explain it, let's talk guitar pedals. You can buy the pedal in New York from the shop next to you for $120. There is also a cheaper pedal for $105, but you need to take the subway for 1 hour to get there. What would you choose? If you chose the cheaper option, think about the hidden opportunity cost for a second. You pay $105 for the pedal. You also pay around $5 for the subway to grab the pedal and return back home. That's already $110. Another hidden cost is the 2 hours you spend commuting back and forth. Time is money too. Essentially, to get the cheaper pedal, you've spent 2 hours of your life valued at $5 each. Now, judging from an opportunity cost perspective, is it worth taking the cheaper pedal? You decide. Mental model 6. How to get more lucky. A very interesting model to cultivate is your luck surface area. Put simply, just like catching more fish with a wider net, your personal luck will increase as you interact with more people in more diverse situations. So if you want a greater luck surface area, you need to relax your rules for how you engage with the world. For example, you might need to put yourself in more unfamiliar situations. Instead of spending the bulk of your time in your flat or studio, you might want to socialize more, network at a conference, or take a class. As a result, you will make your own luck by meeting more people and finding more opportunities, collaborations, and information related to your interests and career. In essence, if your life is a bit too orderly and predictable, disorder in moderation can be a good thing because it increases your luck surface area. I know. What a hack. Mental model 7. How to find the truth. Our next mental model is anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence is informally collected evidence from personal stories that you've either heard in person or via social media. If a friend says so, then it must be true, right? And we pass it on. Don't do that. Any personal story is just a hypothesis that needs to be verified through experiments. Even if a lot of friends state the same thing, correlation does not imply causation. Here's a silly example. A musician friend says that placing a red button on the website made people buy their music more. And then you hear it from another musician friend, and a third one. So what do? Do you simply slap a red button on your website that says, "Pay me"? People might have bought more because the page was great, because the text was convincing, because of pure coincidence. In this case, you need to A/B test different colors to see statistically what converts best. And then test another detail and another till your website looks amazing and converts high. Mental models 8 and 9. How to decide faster and better. How do you weigh a decision? Most people use a pro and con list. Not bad, better than nothing. However, to upgrade your decision making, consider using the next mental model, the cost-benefit analysis. Here's how it works in practice. 1. Make a list of the pros and cons as normal. 2. Place monetary value next to each factor. For example, this con cost $100 while this pro is valued at $500. 3. Finally, add up the monetary values and you'll end up with an estimate of that decision's total worth in dollars. And as you may have noticed, because you're smart, you also need to take into regard some intangible costs and benefits. For instance, you might feel anxiety or homesickness when touring. Those burdens can be an additional cost. Conversely, there might be intangible benefits to touring, like visiting new places and meeting cool people. In a cost-benefit analysis, you still need to assign dollar values to intangible elements, even if they're just rough estimates of how much they're worth to you relative to each other. One useful tactic is to talk with people who have made similar decisions in the past and ask them about costs and benefits that you may have missed. Now, the final mental model is called unknown unknowns. These are hidden risks in a situation that require a significant effort to uncover. For example, maybe artificial intelligence will compose music for movies in the future much better than any human could. And this could dramatically change how composers and artists make a living. Now, even if you identify an unknown unknown, turning it into a known unknown, you still remain unsure of its likelihood and consequences. So what do? You must do de-risking exercises, which we described earlier, and finally turn it into a known known and prepare for it accordingly. In our AI music for movies case, you could simply add more revenue streams in your career, like teaching, streaming, performing, etc. This way, you diversify your revenue portfolio and become less affected by a sudden change in the industry. In conclusion, 9 mental models introduced in super thinking. 1. Arguing from first principles. 2. De-risking. 3. Asymmetric information. 4. Analysis paralysis. 5. Opportunity cost. 6. Luck surface area. 7. Anecdotal evidence. 8. Cost-benefit analysis. 9. Unknown unknowns. For a free summary of the book, check out the link in the description. Over there you also find more resources such as the link to the book itself, my favorite books, and something that's really worse than ISIS. I'm Tommy Daka and you are a rockstar. See you next week.